Hello and welcome everyone to Freedom, Not Tyranny. I'm your host, David Torres. This is a show about you, about your rights, your freedom. A different show. A show about big government versus little government. A show about your Second Amendment rights. A show about your freedom, your rights to vote. A show that involves how to keep yourself independent. Your rights to do what you feel is necessary for you and your family. This is what this show is all about. I hope you enjoy it. Freedom, not tyranny. I'm your host, David Torres, and of course, there's the famous producer that hides in the background, Danny. There's a couple of things we want to talk about today, and it's really disturbing. So try not to have the children around for especially this episode, please, because we don't want them to see some of the stuff and they get nervous and have, nightmares if they even begin to understand some of the topics of the day. And before we do, I want to tell everybody there's a place called Alta Cocina. It's in North Philadelphia, 2460 North 5th Street. It's a quaint little spot. I was in there over the weekend, got some food, excellent food. And the people is there. They're very clean. They seem very humble. And we need, as a community, go to support and help small businesses, because they're the ones that make the city run. They're the backbones of this country, of small businesses. Please come out and visit Alta Cocina 2, 2460 North 5th Street. They're great people. I think you'll like them. I like them. Give them a break. Come on, support them out, okay? All right, let's move on. There's thousands of people in North Carolina. I believe it's called Moore County, North Carolina. I don't know if anybody's followed up on this, but they shot out 2 of the electrical grids. Nobody knows who did it, what happened. They just know that somebody took a gun. I gather that it would have to be a high-powered rifle. I don't think it was a .22, and shot out some of the grids. And literally, there are thousands of people without electricity still since Sunday in North Carolina, in this Moore County, North Carolina. People, this is serious. I don't think anybody could look at these pictures and not realize how vulnerable we are. Our government is paying attention to things that are irrelevant. I don't care, about a lot of things that's irrelevant right now. We need to be able to do what we need to do to support and keep our country safe. And it's not happening, and this situation with the electrical grid, I want you to understand something. The situation with the electrical did not happen Sunday. This has been building up. It's just like the Twin Towers. It's building up. It's a problem. We don't know if it's a terrorist attack. We don't know if it's just somebody who's being a real ass and knocked out our grids. We don't know if it's prelude to a bigger event coming up that they're testing to see how much damage they can cause. But this is serious. This county has been without electricity, thousands of people, and may not have all their electricity going until Thursday for 100% capability to the people that were there. So much damage was done with just somebody shooting at the power grid. We need to stop the behavior of taking things for granted. We always seem to take things for granted. It's unbelievable. And our government is taking things for granted. It's almost like they're waiting for another 9/11 to happen. I don't want another 9/11 to happen. I don't want to see anything like that ever again. But we need to stop being so unaware, if we want to say that. We need to stop being so like it's okay, the government's going to protect us. The government ain't going to do shit if we don't pressure them. The government's not going to do anything it doesn't have to do. And again, this is not something that happened just on Bozo Biden's administration. This has been going on. It's been going on for quite a long time. There have been people talking about it. I know I've talked about it. How we're taking ourselves for granted. The electrical grid is very vulnerable. Look at this what just happened to this one county. Could you imagine if we have terrorists who plan to attack electrical grids across the country? This is serious. You could wake up one day or be sitting in your house one day, and next thing you know, you got absolutely no power for days at a time. It could affect our water supplies. It could affect our gas supplies. It could affect our gasoline pumps. It could affect supermarkets opening up. This is serious. This is dangerous. This could affect hospitals. It is affecting hospitals in this little county. So, I don't know about you, but we seriously need to look at this, and we seriously need to pay attention to it. And it's time that we make our government serve us. This uniparty bullshit that we're putting up with is exactly that. And we can't put up with it anymore. Washington has gone berserk. Nobody seems to be guiding us the way it needs to be guided. They're more worried about their political gain. They're more worried about their posturing. You got people pumping their chest up. Well, you know what? Biden and Schumer and the old fogies from the Republican side, they don't need to pump up their chest and pound on it because they probably cause themselves to have a heart attack. But come on, man. It's time to let go of these people. We need new people in there. We need new fresh blood. We need people in there who respect the flag, who respect the Constitution, and who are there to support each other. We do not need the nonsense of what's happening out here today. We're losing our country. And now we're going to get deeper into some of the things that are going on. So again, please be careful if you have children around that understand what's going on. We're going to hit a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to discuss a couple more things that I think that we need to start paying serious attention to. And this is just the beginning. This is a bad sign. This electrical grid being shot at and going down, and an entire county losing power, hospitals being affected, banks being affected, food supplies being affected, homes for people being affected. This is serious. And we need to pay attention to what's going on because Congress is not, and it's both parties. You hear what I'm saying? It's both parties. It's not Democrat or Republican. It's what we call the uniparty. And it's time we put an end to this uniparty once and for all. It's time we open up and make sure that other people can run. It's time to stop the control that the Democrats and the Republicans have and this so-called monopoly that they had because it's weakening us. Now they know they can attack our electrical grids. and leave us without power. Could you imagine if you have a child at home who needs to be on a machine to breathe? Think about that. Think about a parent in a hospital on a breathing machine. Think about your kids needing an asthma pump or treatment. This is serious. And they're not paying attention to this. And they're hoping you're sleeping, along with all the other things that they do. We're going to get ready. We're going to take a break. We're going to go into a commercial. And then we're going to come back and we're going to discuss other things that are going on. This is Freedom, Not Tyranny. I'm David Torres, and Biden and Schumer and the Republican Party. I really don't care if you watch this or not, because I'm going to put out your bullshit. I'm done with both of you. See you in 30 seconds.
Hey parents, kids like us have a problem, and it's one that you can help solve.
But most parents aren't even aware the problem exists.
Here's the issue. Most schools today aren't teaching young kids some really important concepts, like how the economy works, or what our rights are, or the definition of true laws.
Back before you were born, schools often taught the principles of a free society.
But not anymore. That's why our parents have us read
The
Tuttle
Tuttle
Twins. These books teach children about economic and civic truths that we need to learn, and there's nothing else like them in the world.
Each book covers a different topic, helping us learn how the world really works.
For example, these books teach kids things like how the free market is the key to prosperity, the history of the money we use, what our rights are and why we should protect them, how kids can be entrepreneurs.
I definitely want to be my own boss someday, and these books will help.
Kids like us absolutely love these books. Maybe because they don't treat us like little children. Instead, they help us learn important ideas and develop critical thinking skills.
Chances are your kids are missing out on learning these things, especially in a way that's fun and enjoyable for the whole family.
And even better, when you buy this set, you also get the awesome activity workbooks for free.
Now listen, there are a lot of crazy ideas out there, and you need to prepare your kids.
Yeah, if you want to raise a free thinker, you're gonna need something that teaches about freedom.
So purchase your books now.
But be careful, your kids will learn ideas that many adults don't even understand.
It makes for some really interesting dinner conversations. Those kids are cute, but I bet yours are cuter.
And imagine how much they'll enjoy the books. So what are you waiting for? Click the link and grab your set.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Freedom, Not Tyranny. I'm your host, David Torres, and of course, we got Danny, the mastermind and producer, who gets us all in trouble. He controls every little button, so if you got anything to complain about, it's all on Danny. All right, next thing we want to talk about today, it's a very important situation, which is what's happening with the media, Twitter, what's going on and what's being told to everybody. I know by now that everybody's understanding that Twitter has been bought by Elon Musk, and he's been putting out information about what Twitter was using to censor what we hear, what we know, especially throughout the election. And the media was part of the entire piece. You got to understand what's happening here, okay? You have the media, you have the Biden administration or the White House, then you got now the IRS, and you got the FBI, all in cahoot to control what you hear, to control what you're saying, all right? This is bad news. The information's coming out, and it's proven the fact that the Biden administration, the media like CNN, MSNBC, um, the FBI, they did their part to not cover or to put out as little information about what was truly going on. Meantime, the way this is looking now, the FBI was used by the Biden administration to actually control what you were being told was happening. They covered up on the Hunter laptop. We know that prior to the election going on, there was an enormous scandal about some of the things that were going on with the Biden family. And they literally went to Facebook, to Twitter, and told him not to put out information to the American public. Stuff like COVID-19, the Biden, the Hunter information. They want you to know exactly what they want, and that's so dangerous. During the time in human history, there's been, I don't know, Danny, you want to read this to people? You don't have a microphone. Well, Danny doesn't have a microphone, so he's not going to read it. So during the COVID-19 crisis, where social engineering tactics were used against the American public not to limit yours. What they were basically doing is they were controlling what you were hearing, what you were being told, and how much information is going to be given to you. That's very dangerous. In this country, we have a thing called freedom of speech, and we're supposed to know. And our governmental leaders in the White House, in the Senate, okay, and social media have a certain responsibility to give us information and tell us things, and not cover up things and not lie to us. And that's exactly what was going on. They were trying to control. They did control what you and I knew about what was going on, and how much involved the government is. There's a lawsuit against the Biden administration and big tech for censoring what we've been told and what's going on. There's lawsuits now that are coming up against them. There's if you keep track of what's happening with Twitter and the censoring, you're gonna see that that people are being told, they're being dictated to, they're controlling everything you're doing, and that, to me, is more communist. That's what happens with socialism. It starts there, and before you know it, they're telling you what you can hear, what you can wear, what you can say. I mean, there's people around this world suffering right now by the same thing that they're eventually trying to do to us. There's certain places where you can go. China, they're protesting right now, where they can't take something like this and put it up if they feel that it's against what they believe, what they want you to say. So the people of China that are protesting literally are putting a blank piece of paper. Because if they write anything on that piece of paper that the government doesn't like, they're getting arrested. And in some cases, they're never being heard from again. You got Iran that has issues going on with its people, where the women are not allowed to do certain things. They're not allowed to get educated, but so far. They're not allowed. There's Afghanistan, where women they're beneath everything. They have to walk behind a man. They can't walk the streets without a male being with them from the household. They can't show their hair. They got to cover up their faces. It's just the children are horrible. The children are being married off at 12, 13, 14 years old to their own relatives. There's a lot of stuff going on in this country. We live in a blessed country. We live in a society that we are blessed to be in right now. We have freedoms, but there's certain groups that want to take them freedoms away from us. And we can't. We can't allow tech to just take everything and away from us. We've gotten so advanced in technology that we're losing ourselves. We're losing our freedom. They're starting to control us. We can't do this anymore. We got to take the government back, because they're kind of forgetting what they're there for. The federal government was supposed to be there to collect certain money and pay our bills, not to give themselves constant raises, not to make benefits where only they benefit from. You know, we can't get inside trades, but they were able to do it. They go into Congress and they barely can put gas in their car, and in less than a year or two, they wind up millionaires. Yet we're struggling. You know, if you had $200, this is the mentality over there in Washington, okay, the way I look at it. If you had $200 in this hand, that's yours, and $2,000 that were taxpayers' money, and they needed to come up with, I don't know, say $10,000 for a project. These are numbers I'm just giving you off the top of my head, okay? Nothing over there costs $10,000 anymore. I don't think a damn toilet seat costs $10,000 over there. It costs more than that. But if you were to say to them, okay, you need $10,000, so if all of you's put up, half of your paychecks, that'll make up the $10,000. Trust me that them bills wouldn't be done that easy. But since they got so used to being able to take your money, pocket theirs, and take your money with no limits to what they have to do, because they don't longer listen to us. They could just spend your money and spend your money and spend your money. They don't care. It's nothing to them. Republicans and Democrats, they don't care. Oh, sure, they'll tell you we're for spend. The Democrats are for spending. The Republicans are for not. With $31 trillion in debt. See, it's not coming out of their pocket. Nothing is coming out of their pocket. It's all coming out of your pocket, my pocket. So we got to take them and say, listen, no more spending. One bill, one vote. No ride-alongs, no changes. Everybody that goes up there present their own bill and see how many people support it and what's going on. And we don't want to spend $3,000 on a toilet seat. We don't want to spend $2,000 for a hammer. We don't want to know how I don't know, the flies reproduce. We need to take all their spending and see how much of it is bullshit. And then if we're going to send money, say, to Ukraine for the war, all right, well, then maybe we should take away some of the spending that they have instead of the taxpayers. How about this? How about if we go to the taxpayers and ask them if they want to take an additional tax? Let's see how much their constituents then deal with them. Let them or in Congress and in the Senate go back to their districts and tell their people that we're going to send $50 billion to Ukraine to support the war, and we're going to increase your, I don't know, gas tax to cover the money, because it ain't coming out of their pocket. But they ain't going back to you to ask you for the money. See, they think that they have a credit card that says, don't worry about it, just keep spending our money, and keeps taxing us. And they're screwing you. They're screwing you and you don't even know it. Meantime, our grids are getting shot up. Our border is out of whack. 5 million people already came into this country illegally. The immigration should have been straightened out. See, both parties know what's going on, and they're playing with you. We're going to do a special next week, and we're going to put out how much money was spent in this midterm election alone. And what needs to be changed. Let's end that two-party system, everybody. We're going to go to another commercial break, and we're going to talk about another topic. And please don't have the kids around when we reach that other topic, okay? It's really important, and it's heartbreaking.
We must seize the means of production.
Stop it, Vlad. You know the rule. If you want to regulate something, go regulate the mess in your room. It seems a big part about being a mom these days is helping your kids unlearn the crazy ideas they're exposed to in the world.
Mom, I just found out that if I run into the TV fast enough, I'll become a cartoon.
Nope, that will kill you. And it's not just normal kid stuff either. Now, my kids are being told by the media and even the school system that socialism is great.
Mama, if we just get rid of all these successful people, we'll finally be happy.
No, honey, that just means we'll all be poor. I want to teach my kids right, but it is so hard to find age-appropriate material to teach them about the principles of freedom. The blocks are the supply, and when people want them, that's demand.
Is that what Dad meant when he said you're too demanding?
Luckily, I now have the Tuttle Twins to help us. The Tuttle Twins is a series of books written for freedom-loving parents that teach correct principles about free markets in clear and relatable stories. You know, clear and relatable, so opposite of socialists. With over 2 million copies sold, these books are the best way to teach your child real-world topics not covered by most school curriculum.
Mom, I demand cookies. There's no more supply.
Oh. So if you have offspring and don't want them supporting socialism, then click the link and order the Tuttle Twins books today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Freedom, Not Tyranny. Again, we're going to show some pictures and some information. Please don't have the children around watching this particular, because it's disturbing. It's disturbing to me, and it's disturbing to the people here in the studio. And we just don't want this in front of the children, please. Okay? I want to talk to you about these electric cars and the Green New Deal. You know, the batteries for these electric cars. And here's the problem. They're lying to you so bad. It's pathetic. I mean, it's really pathetic. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, you know. They think that we're completely stupid, ignorant people. There's a thing called carbine. It's a form of material. It's an energy source or a resource used in things like car batteries, to produce these car batteries. Now, the government here, blundering Biden and people like AOC and even the Republicans are pushing this, let's go green energy. Let's do this clean energy. No more using oil and coal and etc. to produce electricity. They want to go the Green New Deal. They want to go with these electric cars, and electric batteries. You want to know how much bullshit this is? I want you to understand, and I want you to check something out. In order to get this, the material that's needed, one of the materials is called carbon. Now, I want you to understand this. Danny, can we put up what's happening in Africa alone? In Africa, a small-scale mining in DRC, and this is not the Dominican Republic, okay? This is part of Africa, all right? The mining companies alone, the people used, includes children. The work conditions are horrible. They literally have 255,000 people mining carbon. 40,000 of these people mining these mines, 40,000 of them are children. Do you hear what I'm saying? 40,000 of them are children. And they start at 6 years old. Kids in this country are playing ball, hopefully. Hopscotch, jumping jacks, little girls, boys dreaming of being. These are the kids that are mining these mines so that Biden administration and China can produce the batteries for these electric cars. Your congressman, your senator, your state reps, and your damn president knows that these children are being used as slaves. Hardcore labor. They're not getting up in the morning to go to school. They're not having a glass of warm milk to go to bed. They're dying in these mines. These are children. And we have the audacity here to complain about equality, slavery, forced labor, cheap labor, welfare. These people would love to have food stamps and welfare. They're sitting back while we're enjoying cell phones, electric cars, going on the Green New Deal. But they ain't telling you that it's kids across the other side of this planet that's being used. Being used in these mines. Going to bed, some of them hungry. Listen to their brother and sisters cry themselves to sleep from hunger. Drinking polluted water. And all we got to do is turn on a spigot. We got microwaves that we put something in there, pancakes or whatever, and we feed our kids. Well, I don't, but we feed kids. We got to go to the supermarket and we get boxes of cereal. You get really poor here and down, you wind up getting food stamps, free education. Their education is getting to them coal mines. Getting to them mines to get the minerals out that's used for these batteries. This is what the damn government is shoving up. This is what the government is feeding you. And you're not getting it. There's kids out there suffering in Africa today. So you at the NAACP, you in these great movements, you white crackers who think because now you stand behind the black people with your fists up, that you're supporting something, you're full of shit. And I'm holding back because there's kids in their minds digging them up for your stuck-up black ass and your stuck-up cracker-looking pieces of shit driving electric cars while them kids are suffering. And you're laying that bullshit down on the American people. We have any more pictures, Danny, that we could show these people? Maybe they can get a real picture. And I want you, if you're black or white or Chinese or whatever color you are and whatever race you want to say you are, I want you to look and see if you could picture the faces of your kids in them kids' faces. Can you picture your kids in the mud like that? Can you picture your kids not eating? Walking around if they get cut with all that mud and fungus getting into their skins, into open pores. They're not going to school. They don't have running water to take a bath with. You ought to be ashamed of talking about a Green New Deal while these kids are being used like this. Who the hell do you think you are? I don't care if you're from the Biden administration, from Congress, from Senate, from Pluto, from China. I don't give a shit because you're an ignorant bastard if you don't see the damage that's happening to these kids. And you got a nerve to talk about a Green New Deal. Buy electric. Kiss my ass. I don't know about you guys, but I'm disgusted. And I don't like it. And I'm going to tell you, and Biden, I hope you see this. Because wherever I see wherever I see you, I'm going to tell the world how much of a damn liar you are. How much of a racist bastard you are. Remember, America, this man didn't want his kids to go to school with ours. Because he didn't want them to be confused. God forbid one of his kids wake up to be a crack addict. You know, we weren't good enough to go to the same school with him. His vice president reminded him that she was one of the ones on the bus that he didn't want going to school with the white kids. But for some reason, the Democratic Party forgot this shit. Slavery was here. The majority of them that owned them, okay, were Democrats. Somehow they forgot that shit too. Now they're handing you a Green New Deal. And somehow they're forgetting these kids in Africa, in these mines. And the Republican Party is just as guilty. So you want to accept it, that's on you. But I'm not. And I'm going to tell you now that I'm going to keep repeating this over and over again, and I don't give a shit who doesn't like it. You shut me down on one end, I'll go to another engine. You shut me down that engine, there's nowhere around, I'll stand on the damn corner. But people are going to see what you're doing, what you're doing to these kids in Africa, and all you people who are out there, like I said, white crackers, behind people to make themselves feel good for something they had nothing to do with slavery, thinking that they're going to make themselves feel better because they're standing with them. And all you black people who say you want to be equal, but you're watching kids, you're seeing the proof yourself, these kids are out there in these mines, and you don't have a say in it. I'm going to remind each and every one of you, every time I get a chance. People, I hope that this message has gone out. If I offended you, good. You didn't like what I said? Good. My name is David Torres, and I really don't give a damn if you didn't like it. Freedom, Not Tyranny is here, and it's going to remind each and every one of you, no matter what color you are, you're at fault for letting this government get to the point it is. I hope you all can sleep. Go have yourself a slice of pizza, drink a beer, smoke a blunt, whatever it is you want to do. But don't ever come to me and talk about racism, because you are the biggest racist there is. America. Look at these kids. Have a good one. See you next week. Hello and welcome, everyone, to Freedom, Not Tyranny. I'm your host, David Torres. This is a show about you, about your rights, your freedom. A different show. A show about big government versus little government. A show about your Second Amendment rights. A show about your freedom, your rights to vote. A show that involves how to keep yourself independent. Your rights to do what you feel is necessary for you and your family. This is what this show is all about. I hope you enjoy it. Freedom, not tyranny.